Ron here with a perfectly imperfect marriage, and I want to talk to you today a little bit about our communication keys step in our marriage harmony grow, restore, strengthen program. Now, here we're really going to dive deep into communication patterns, techniques, some skills that maybe you're not aware of, but how to really build a solid communication dynamic that's specific for you and your spouse. Now, if this information sounds interesting, if it resonates with you, if it's something that you're interested in, like the video and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Samantha and I regularly share new videos where we talk about different marriage topics that are near and dear to our heart, as well as we take requests from the APIM crew. Now, you may not know what the APIM crew is, but a perfectly imperfect marriage, APIM, and then crew, it's our community. Couples that we regularly engage with who interact with us on Facebook or Instagram or TikTok or here on YouTube, and they have suggestions on different topics that they want to learn about. And it's great for us as well because it gives us an opportunity to dig into something that we may not be considering at the moment. But let's get back to this. So this is the communication keys step in our marriage harmony GRS program. Now, here we're really unpacking what solid, healthy communication looks like within the marriage and how to facilitate it, which is really the biggie. You may feel like you're on this perpetual wheel of same conversation over and over again, same argument regularly. Things don't seem to ever have resolution. There's resentment that's hanging out over the marriage dynamic. These are things that we want to get into, square away, because really what it boils down to is you deserve a happy, healthy, joyful marriage. And let me tell you, it's absolutely possible. We're going to dive into things like overcoming the fear of vulnerability. That when we share honestly and authentically, that somehow we're exposing ourselves for retribution or retaliation. Breaking from this fear of perfectionism. First of all, there is no such thing as perfection. It's progress over time. But we're going to unpack that and see what that really looks like and what that's all about. We're going to talk about turning arguments into understandings. You know what? Every argument really is a learning opportunity if it's handled with grace and humility and a desire to really see things from your spouse's point of view. Building emotional safety. We need to have emotional intimacy in our relationship in order to have real, open, honest, authentic conversation. Breaking this cycle of frustration, and this is that stuck on the rat wheel, it's the same argument every night, or it's the same conversation that has no resolution on a regular basis. We're going to work through that. Practical tools for everyday conversation. We're going to break down some simple, easy conversation dynamics that you can incorporate into the day-to-day. And then how do we restore connection through communication? Solid and open communication really does affect the marriage dynamic in so many ways. So we're going to unpack that and see what that looks like. Now, Samantha and I'm not going to dive real deep into our backstory or our history. If we end up working together, you guys are going to learn all about us. And it's a pretty colorful past. But anyway, but understand a couple things. Yes, we've got the schooling. Yes, we've got the certifications. Yes, we've been doing this for some time. But really, we're coming at this from a point of view of experience. We've walked through this fire. 2017, we were on the brink of divorce and really needed to do some serious soul searching, some digging deep, redefining some values, and really had to make some hard decisions about what we wanted to do moving forward. So we understand what it's like to be stuck and frustrated and just feeling the angst. But yet you see couples out there that are succeeding and doing well, and it's possible, what you want, but how do you get there? Our goal with this program is to give you that head start that, we didn't have. We had to grind through that fire for a little while to get to where we are. But let me tell you though, every effort that you're going to make on this journey is well worth it. We are so much happier, healthier, our bond is stronger. Samantha, without a doubt, is my best friend, and I couldn't imagine doing this journey of life without her. Some of the things that we see couples struggle with in the beginning of this particular step, open and honest communication, needing to become some sort of communication expert. So we're going to review some different strategies. You don't need to memorize them all. You don't need to incorporate them all. We're really going to fine tune and customize some dynamics that work for you and for your style. Every couple is different. So what works for one may or may not work for another. That's cool. We're going to work through that. Fearing vulnerability by sharing feelings. When we share what we're feeling inside, are we opening ourselves up for attack? We're going to work through that. And then believing that open communication is going to lead to arguments. Now, these are all real fears, real concerns, but we're going to unpack them. There's no reason to believe that this is the way it has to be. This is our one-page communication keys cheat sheet, and I'd love to get a copy to you. There's a link below in the comments section or in the description. It's probably in the description. But anyway, feel free to click that, and I'd love to get a copy of this to you. Free, no cost, our gifts to you. Hopefully it'll give you a bit of a head start or maybe an understanding of what this program looks like and some of the things that we would have the opportunity to work through together. Now, this is just one step in an overall plan. This is the roadmap that we use to get off of that treadmill of frustration and confusion and repetitiveness to this beautiful marriage that is healthy and thriving and filled with joy and that you absolutely deserve. And not only deserve, you know what? It's possible. Samantha and I did it. We've worked with other couples who have done it, and we know countless people who have gone through a similar journey and come out the other side happier, healthier, and stronger together. So you're not alone, and this is 100% possible for you. So also in the description below, I'm going to have a link to our website. There you can get to know Samantha and I a little better. You can learn a little bit more about the program, but also there's a link to our calendar. Feel free to schedule some time. We would love to talk to you. We would love to explain a little bit more about the program, answer any questions that you have. But understand, we're not right for everybody, Samantha and I. This program is certainly not right for everybody. And with that being said, we also aren't prepared to work with just everybody. You really have to have a strong desire to get from where you are to where you want to go. And you've got to accept the fact that, this isn't a 3-step done kind of program. You're going to need to put a little work in. You're going to need to show up and have the desire to take small, intentional steps over a period of time, and that's how change happens. But if this resonates with you, if this sounds like something that you absolutely want, realistically know that you need, take the first step right now, reach out to us, and we look forward to talking with you soon.